It's R&R in the morning here on San Antonio Sports Star. Let's talk some Dallas Cowboys with one of our favorites. He wasn't available, but RJ is. I'd like to welcome on the show RJ Ochoa. He is blogging the boys, rock the mic, and all-around great guy. Welcome on the show, RJ. How's your morning going?
It's great to be with you guys. I'm not the head coach of the Boston Celtics, so, really everything is hunky-dory on my end.
And you would never find yourself in that situation anyway.
I definitely would not. But, the good news about it is that every intimate detail of it all will be public information for the whole world to see, which will certainly make it feel way less awkward and way less uncomfortable.
I don't need
storylines over integrity, RJ
I don't need
Ochoa.
the details.
That is the motto of the R&R in the morning broadcast. All right, so we sit here Monday on a Thursday, and then when we talked about our show this morning, RJ, I got to be honest. We knew that you were coming. I turned to Rudy, and I said, you think he's still mad?
I think he's in a better mood. Should be.
I mean,
don't be grumpy all the time.
If look, there are a lot of times, in my life where I guessed, right? You ever ever take like a physics test? You're like, I had no idea how to do this. Like,
I did the best I could. Right.
I didn't study, and so you just kind of guessed. You're like 17, right? Like that's like 17 kilowatts or whatever. Right. And lo and behold, 17 kilowatts is the answer. And the professor's like, you know what? You didn't show your work, but I can't.
You got it right.
Give you the credit for the answer. I kind of feel like 17 kilowatts were on display against the Cincinnati Bengals for the Dallas Cowboys.
Cut Dak.
Don't be this dude, Rudy. I see you on Instagram with your cigars and your life, and you're out on the golf course and stuff.
I'm asking. Really, a lot of Cowboy fans feel like Cooper does some things better than Dak. Hell, Steve Young even went as far as to say Dak could learn a few things from Cooper Rush.
37 touchdowns last year, has authored all sorts of wins and all sorts of accomplishments. But let's listen to this dude with 2 wins, thanks to Micah Parsons. The Cowboys had 6 sacks, but tell me more about Cooper Rush.
We're going to get to the defense, but there is the valid question regarding Cooper Rush running the play that was called. That the call came in.
There's something
Cooper
there.
Doesn't have the wherewithal, whether it be confidence or knowledge of the playbook or just general skill level to audible out into something that might be more appropriate. He's just running the damn play that Kellen sent in, and it worked. So is there something to be said for maybe stepping on Dak a little bit and saying, just run the damn play sometime and stop checking out of the runs?
I think that multiple things are true here. I think that the Cowboys try to play hero ball with Dak. They want Dak to kind of be the guy. Hey, Dak, go be Peyton Manning. Why? Like the touchdown is still worth 6 points. You know what I mean? Like however you get there. And we're seeing that with like Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos right now, right? It's like, nope, we like a touchdown isn't good enough. It's got to be a Russell Wilson electrifying touchdown so we can all justify all the hype. So I think the Cowboys do that a little bit. I also think that, what Kellen and Cooper did is a little overblown. They scored 20 points, right? They scored 2 touchdowns. Both of them happened in the first quarter. This team has played 8 quarters this season, and they scored a touchdown in one of them, albeit they scored 2 touchdowns. The first touchdown was the first drive of the game. Hell yeah, Kellen, you better be able to pull off the first drive of the game. You spent the whole week putting together that drive. Okay, cool. I'll give you that respect. Well done, Cooper, on the rollout play action and Noah Brown. The second touchdown was aided by a Tony Pollard 46-yard pitch and catch. I mean, like all Cooper's got to do is, like the 4 of us could do that. I don't know about Rudy, but you know what I mean? Like at least the 3 of us could do it. And so, okay, cool. Like Kellen, dial up the Tony Pollard 46-yard play all the time.
Right.
We've been screaming that for 3 years. And after that, where was the offense? After that, where was Kevontae Turpin? Where was Tony Pollard? It all regressed and turtled up. They just, they built a wall and they hoped it was tall enough. And the horse was not able to get into the city of Troy. The Trojan horse was outside the gates, and the Cowboys got the win. But I don't think that we should sit here and throw any kind of roses at the offense.
Agreed.
Let me ask you this: does anything? Again, we're early, but this is what we do. We go week to week. When I think about like the 0-1 Ravens, I think about like the 0-5 Bears. I think about that Peyton Manning-led Broncos team. I think about the Legion of Boom. Does this defense give you any of those signs that they can put this offense on their back and just have the offense be okay, average, put them on their back and not even go win a Super Bowl, but make that run that's going to make Jerry happy, man, whether it be NFC Championship game, whether it be just getting to the Super Bowl? Does that defense give you any type of those vibes?
I mean, yeah, certainly. I've never seen a team want to be Rex Grossman's Bears more than these Cowboys have been. Like, that's the way they've built their team.
And I'm not putting Dak in that. I think Dak's better than Rex. Right. I think he's better than the other QB, that version of Peyton. So I'm not putting Dak down. I'm just asking about the defenses.
I agree. I mean, you know, the early 2000s Ravens obviously led by Ray Lewis, although they did have Ed Reed.
Who's that? Trent Dilfer.
Right. Obviously Brian Urlacher at the center of those Bears defense, but they had a lot of contributors. I mean, like Tina Tillman, you know, friend of the show. I mean, like all sorts of people. And they had a dynamic returner in Devin Hester that year. The Cowboys kind of have that in Cavante Turpin. The 15 Broncos had DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller. Cowboys have DeMarcus Lawrence and obviously Micah Parsons. And yeah, I mean, it's possible. Like, nobody ever said this was impossible, but it was, and it remains incredibly unlikely. And things we said over the offseason, the turnovers are going to regress. All sorts of homers coming out. How do you know that? How do you know they won't have? They had 6 in the first 2 games last year. They have 2 right now. And to their credit, they have found a way to pull off a win. They're you know, have an identical record at least after the first 2 weeks last season. And so it will not, like, they want the Bengals had 254 yards and committed no turnovers. That's such a rarity, and they're an elite offense. Like, cool, respect. Like, let's all celebrate, high fives all the way around. But you cannot count on this happening. If I jumped out of a parachute, I think I told you all this, or jumped out of a plane without a parachute and was totally fine, like, that wasn't a great idea. Like, this isn't a results-oriented process. And that's kind of what happened here. It worked. Well done. The Bengals are clearly, you know, a little bit inflated and a little bit of a paper tiger, the Denver Nuggets of the NFL, if you will. And so, like, you don't get to, like, consider them this mount that you put up. Like, whoa, great job. You beat the Cincinnati Bengals, who also lost to Mitchell Trubisky, who have T.J. Watt, or at the time at least had T.J. Watt. Right. So, I mean, good for you, but this is not – it might be for the next 2 weeks against Daniel Jones and Carson Wentz. But when you play, there's no way, even as amazing as the Cowboys defense is, that they can hang with the Buffalo Bills or the Kansas City Chiefs, or maybe even the Philadelphia Eagles right now.
Well said with the Philadelphia Eagles. And talking about hanging the hat on defense and being led by that, Micah certainly is doing his part. And I thought Trayvon Diggs, despite no turnovers, is becoming a little bit more of a lockdown guy. They're not throwing over him and past him like we saw last year. But you brought up DeMarcus Lawrence as another star on that defense. When was the last time we heard his name mentioned in regards to a play made? And how important was Dorrance Armstrong's performance on Saturday to the long-term, you know, credibility of the Cowboy defense as being upper echelon and enough at least to get him into the playoffs?
I'm anxious to hear Stephen Jones and Jason and Joe on Friday. I don't know if he's going to take some Dorrance victory laps, but I like DeMarcus is one of those. I mean, I've fought that fight too many times. I'm getting too old for this. You know, like, he's an elite player. If you don't recognize it, it's up to you. He doesn't get the sacks. He's an amazing run defender, and we saw that against the Bengals. I mean, he was able to stymie the run game. And look, all due respect to Dorrance Armstrong, who came from the mighty powerhouse that is Kansas football. I mean, there's a reason that Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler are able to have the success that they are. And it's Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence absorbing so much attention. And so a lot of people have a hard time seeing that. They think, perhaps somewhat fairly so, that if you're getting paid big-time money, you should be the big-time sack guy. It's actually kind of funny to think back to early in the offseason. DeMarcus was like, yeah, I want to go shot for shot with Micah on sacks this year. Okay, Good luck, DeMarcus. That's really going to happen here. He's a great player. It's just he contributes in ways that the box score doesn't necessarily highlight.
Absolutely. Giants and Philly, real or fake?
I think Philly's real. I mean, like, they may not be able to be like this all-world, you know, juggernaut every week, but they're a real contender. And the question all along has been, can Jalen Hurts be an elite passer? And it's an incredibly small sample size, but he was that dude on Monday night. Like that was the game that was like, okay, like this dude lives within him. Like how often does he show up? That remains to be seen. I'm a big believer in the Vikings. I picked them to win the Super Bowl, so this is a particularly hard week for me. And they were able to. I mean, I think that Vikings offense is amazing, and so they were able to stymie it. I do think the Giants are a little bit fraudulent, but I think that that's okay. Like they're in a different spot. I mean, this year isn't about contending for the Giants. This year's about building positive things, and we've seen that. We've seen the coaching staff rely on their team, go for it on fourth down, steal games, be weird, be spoiler. That's who you need to be this year if you're the Giants. And but I do think that luck probably runs out a little bit on Monday.
Brian Dable, go be weird out there. Just let it go. Just go for it.
Rob, I'm gonna steal Rob's question. Would you put together anything for Kenny Galladay since Dable doesn't want him? Or are you good with the receiving core and leave it alone? Let's just move on.
Rudy, since signing
it's Rob's question. It's Rob's question.
Since signing a big time contract with the New York Giants a year and a half ago, Trayvon Diggs has more receptions in the end zone in MetLife Stadium than Kenny Galladay.
Nuts. That is a nutso stat right there. That drop your mic. Let's finish it right there. He is RJ Ochoa, editor and Blogging the Boys. Great stuff. You're not a Cowboy fan unless you're checking Blogging the Boys every day on the regular. Make sure you're following RJ on the socials. He's everywhere, and every Thursday you get him right here. RJ, have yourself a great day. Thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you next week.
Much love, bro.
Thanks a lot, guys. My challenge to you all, do the next segment holding hands.
We already do that.
All right.